Hey there! Welcome, nerds of the Omega level kind. It is I, Don, along with 8-Bit Ray again joining us. Of course, Season 3 of The Mandalorian just continues to roll as we are now through the second episode of the third season. If you've seen the show before, you know my Star Wars fandom level. If not, I'll only describe it as, I'm a huge fucking Star Wars fan. I love any dive into that universe, and particularly with the Mandalorian show thus far has been absolute quality and a great window into that world that I love. 8-Bit Ray, you also love Star Wars.
Yes, sir.
So,
For as long as I can remember.
Yeah. Yeah, and of course last week you shared something I never knew and I kind of still boggles my mind is, of course, your first exposure to Star Wars is the original trilogy, quite like mine,
Yeah.
but you had to watch them in reverse order, so Return of the Jedi, Empire Strikes Back, A New Hope, which still boggles my mind, but
They were out of order on the tape. I didn't tape them.
Yeah, and so thankfully the VHS, that my grandparents had of the trilogy was in proper order, followed by Iron Eagle, Delta Force, and then Rocky IV. So
nothing but quality.
as you can tell, these weren't official VHS releases. These were rental stores that you had a second recorder for, and then boom, you own the movie. But hey, things are a whole lot different now. Of course, we have streaming, and The Mandalorian show, Season 3, begun on the Disney Plus streaming service. Like I said, I'm excited. What did you think about the episode overall before we kind of dive into a lot of really cool shit here that's spoilers?
I thought that the episode was very good at setting up more lore for the Mandalorian people. I thought that was essential. I mean, this is a show called The Mandalorian.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was cool to get Grogu actually doing something for once. But overall, I think that the episode was just fine. It wasn't mind-blowing. It didn't change my life. I'm not going to go get Mando tattoos, although I already have Boba Fett. But I mean, I'm not going to go get Dijarin's tattoo anytime soon. I'm not rushing out to buy the Fortnite skin. So, I mean, I thought the episode was just fine. I mean, we got a long way to go in this season.
We do have a long way to go, but I will definitely say that I was really excited and love this episode. Just like you said, it does dive deeper into the Mandalorian lore, a lot of which is kind of being written, as we go through this because the legend's not being canon anymore. So why I'm excited is because I always kind of wondered, how are they going to get there? Because in the Legends novels, Boba Fett ends up being the Mandalore and reestablishing the Mandalorian culture. So I want to see how they're going to address that. And in this episode, we have the Mandalorian, Din Djarin, as we found out in the last episode, to redeem himself, he wants to bathe in the living waters that is located on the planet Mandalore under the Beskar mines. Of course, the planet is pretty much deemed inhabitable. It was destroyed by the Empire. Surface is glassed. Supposedly it's poisoned. But nonetheless, it's where Din Djarin has to go in order to redeem himself. I thought we were going to get a little bit more back and forth in the season before we end up on planet Mandalore. But we don't. He's there. He goes there. Brings the new... Well, I say new, even though the droid... it's the same astromech droid that, we saw in A New Hope.
Yeah.
So, now Din Djarin is in possession of that. He can, use that port that Grogu usually chills in. And now Grogu just, sits on Din Djarin's lap. But that ship is too small. I don't know. Maybe it's just my own claustrophobia when I look at it. But it's cool. I get it. It's souped up. It's super fast. But for a full-size person, Grogu, and an astromech droid to be like floating around, in this little ship. I don't know. Again, it
Well,
could be my
at least
own
he gets
claustrophobia.
there. Well, I mean, at least he gets there fast enough that it's not very uncomfortable.
It has to be. I mean, it has to be just zipping around, or else that would just me personally would drive me crazy. Um,
But Don,
but
you were talking about how it's too early to go to Mandalorian this season.
I didn't.
Now,
Well, it's not too early. I didn't expect it. I'm fine with it.
okay,
Believe me.
I don't think it's going to be the last time that we come back to this planet this season. I think they
But
introduced it early to kind of set the groundwork for something that might happen later in the season. So that way
well,
you're not just going into a world that you don't know.
yeah.
Creatures are there that you don't know. They're establishing these things.
Hmm.
So I
Yeah.
think that we will come back to it. It just makes sense that it would, all the Mandalorians maybe go back to the planet. Word gets out that it's habitable, breathable air, things like that. I don't know. I don't know where it's going to go. That's Filoni and Favreau. That's all up to
Yeah.
them.
Well, luckily for you, the Star Wars snob, have a little bit of an idea of where this might go. Um, and that's why I'm so excited, actually, because I think you're absolutely right. I think we're definitely going to be back to this planet. It's not the end game, which is actually a very good thing as far as I'm concerned, because in all honesty, like I said, with Boba Fett being the Mandalore in Star Wars Legends canon, but now we've set up a whole nother scenario, okay? Because I have a theory, and I'll take you through it here. So right now we've basically got 3 to 4 candidates to be the next Mandalore. Din Djarin, obviously, who currently possesses the Darksaber.
Maybe not after this episode. I
Maybe
never
not at
saw it.
right.
I never saw it go back to him.
Right, maybe not after this episode. Indeed. So we have Bo-Katan, who's obviously, I mean, she ruled on Mandalore as she describes in this show, but you will see in other series if you've seen it. If you're the Star Wars snob, that she did, she was the ruler after Darth Maul and Sabine Wren, that whole jazz. Sabine Wren gave her the Darksaber.
Mhm.
Of course, the destruction of Mandalore did happen after that, hence why that's kind of considered a cursed moment. So, but nonetheless, we've got Din Djarin, we've got Bo-Katan, Kryze, we have Boba Fett, who in the book of Boba Fett, very reminiscent of riding the Mythosaur type deal with him riding the Rancor, and again in Legends canon, he becomes a Mandalore.
Yeah.
But I actually think there's a fourth candidate that I actually think we're going to see. I think this is going to end up happening, and that's Grogu. Because the Darksaber is important, and the Darksaber, of course, was created by Tar Vizsla, who was both Mandalorian and Jedi Knight. Now, here we have Grogu. He's trained in the Jedi arts. He is being currently trained as a Mandalorian. He reached for the Darksaber a little bit when he was on Moff Gideon's ship, when Moff Gideon was showing it to him. And Din Djarin can't wield the damn thing, which it is somewhat of a sentient thing, so it's kind of rejecting him.
Yeah.
However, in this episode, like I said, Din Djarin goes to Mandalore. And, you mentioned earlier, Grogu actually does something. Yeah, Grogu actually, flies around in his little pod now. And so he flies. They go down, because they find out that you can breathe the air. So they go down to find the mines. And Grogu's with him. And they're searching. They fight off these, I couldn't find the name of them. But these troll things.
But yeah, Bo-Katan says what they are, and I don't remember the name of it either. But they
Yeah.
lived outside of the city walls, essentially, on Mandalore.
Right.
Yeah.
So they encounter some of them on their way, which is cool and to be expected. But then this it's kind of a General Grievous. Yeah,
kind of
this
got
droid
trapper droid.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This trapper droid who traps Din Djarin, takes him to this area but before he's completely incapacitated, he tells Grogu, go get Bo-Katan. And Grogu does. He like, okay, shit. He's in his pod. He floats back up to the ship, gets in the ship. R5 or whatever, Red 5, whatever that droid's name is, flies into Bo-Katan, goes to get her, and that's exactly what happens. She goes to Mandalore in her ship.
But it had a little bit of a payoff because he was telling him before. He was telling Grogu, a Mandalore should always know where they are, so they're never lost.
Right.
And Grogu remembered the way in and the way out. So I thought that was a nice little payoff. Like he's listening to the Mandalorian.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, he is, actually being, trained in the Mandalorian ways.
And Grogu has been watching him use the controls since about season 1. So he's pointing to the to the map, and he tells the droid, "Get us there."
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
So he's very helpful right now.
So Bo-Katan does go, and she is able to rescue Din Djarin, but not before they get in a little bit of a fight with that. Because like that trapper droid, he's like a General Grievous. He's some part humanoid. He's like this humanoid eye thing, but it goes into different droids and whatnot. So whatever it is, I don't know. There's like a organic thing that takes control of these droid bodies that it has, and that's what had trapped Din Djarin and like stuck something in him. It was going to like suck out. He must have to suck out his blood and stuff to keep his living part alive or something like that. But nonetheless,
kind of like a spider. Ironic that he caught him in like a spider type body,
right?
And then he sucks the life out of him and to keep him docile, probably to keep him alive longer. I don't think he was trying to drain him fully.
Interesting. Yeah. Of course, we didn't learn much about that creature. Maybe that's something that we'll see later on, because, like you said, I'm sure we'll be back. But so Din Djarin is saved, and Bo-Katan, gets a hold of the Darksaber and actually starts using it, and
like a boss,
right?
I mean, she was whipping that thing around like it was no problem, while Jarrett was just struggling just to lift it.
Mm-hmm.
He was cutting ankles with it while she's sticking it in people's chests.
Right. So she obviously had very good control over it. Cool, like little shield thing she had on coming out of her Mandalorian gauntlet.
Yeah, I was not expecting that. I was like, oh, what is that? Like a little tiny little deflector shield. That was pretty dope.
Yeah, no, it was dope as fuck.
As Mel Brooks would say, it's good to be the king. Well, she's the queen, but it's good to be the king. Yeah.
Even if it is an empty throne room.
Yeah, well, she didn't want to help Djarin like at all. Like, she was like about to kick him off the planet, like, get the hell out of here, and then she had a real change of heart. And I don't know where that like change of heart came from. Was it from like, oh, Grogu's here looking all cute? Because, she just wanted to get rid of him.
Yeah, he has that effect.
Yeah, but then she just kind of changed her, once she just saw just Grogu, and she's like, what happened? Like, she changed her whole demeanor. I don't know. She sent him to that damn planet. She kind of knew what was going to happen, and then acts surprised, like, what happened to him,
Yeah, that is interesting. That definitely is a paradigm shift that she had, because I mean, it was palpable, just kind of her frustration, like, fuck, here's the guy with the Darksaber. If I could just kick his ass, everything would be right, but, fuck, now he needs my help. So she does go to help him, which, just like you said, is kind of a turnabout face there, like, why?
Yeah, real snap decision.
But not only that, but once they hit like that, because they do find the mines and these living waters, and she kind of gets into it a little bit, kind of mockingly, because she's like, hold on, I'm going to give you the full tour there. And because there was like a plaque once they got into the room with the living waters, it was talking about, this is where the great mythosaur had been, was stored.
But that entire walk with her and the Mandalorian was actually, that was a good deep dive into her lore, into her past, giving you a little bit more of, who and what she is and what she represents and what she came from.
Mm-hmm.
She's telling that, Grogu, it didn't always used to look like this. It used to be beautiful and things like that. And it kind of gives you a little mental picture of what Mandalore actually used to be instead of this, stained glass planet that you're seeing full of cavemen and spider droids.
Which, if you'd
I
like
thought
to
that,
see, go ahead and watch the Clone Wars. You actually see
yes.
Obi-Wan get with Bo-Katan's sister, Duchess Satine. But yes, anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry, sir.
Oh no, I was just saying that just the walk.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was probably one of the best scenes. Well, I mean, 2 episodes into the season, so I can't say.
Sure.
I'll say in recent memory of Mando episodes, I thought that was a really nice little. You don't get to know too much about the other Mandalores, so it's kind of cool
Yeah.
to just get to know them a little bit. Especially if they're going to be pivotal characters in this show going forward. I mean, I don't know for sure. I mean, they could kill her off in the next episode for all I know.
They
I mean, but
could.
she did, what was really cool is that she was telling the story about Mandalore and how he tamed the great mythic beast. And then
Mm-hmm.
in the last couple of seconds of the episode, you see the Kraken or whatever you want to call it, the great mythical beast.
The
And
Mythosaur.
yeah, but it's still down there. So it kind of makes me wonder, was the lore a lie? Did he just trap this thing down there? Or, by some happenstance, it just kind of got trapped down there? Like, I don't know. It seemed like she was kind of questioning herself, and you couldn't even see her face because she had the mask on and they're underwater and
Mm-hmm.
things like that. But you could just kind of tell her body movements. And that's another great thing about this show is body movement. They can tell a story without their face, man. It's almost
A
like a
lot
luchador
of.
wrestler.
Yep.
Yeah, you can tell a lot of emotion just by the way that they walk and
Yeah.
carry themselves. But you could tell through a mask that she was like, I don't know if she was, I'm confused. I don't know if she was petrified or like she was lied to, like deceived. Like, is the whole lore a lie? I mean, this thing is
Yeah.
still down there. He didn't tame shit. He didn't kill anything. So what does that
Yeah.
mean for her? You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, because it's significant because that Mythosaur appearing, and there's a lot of theories floating around, but because I thought at first like maybe it wasn't real. But all the other theories I see
Well,
people talking about, no, it's a Mythosaur, it's down there chilling.
Well, I mean, you have certain cultures in the world that talk about taming dragons. I mean, it's
Yeah.
kind of like the same thing. Did dragons really exist? Who knows? We don't have proof. There was no proof of that mythosaur down there either. All they
Yeah.
had was a story, and I feel like they were just led on. I think maybe this is my personal thing is that maybe Mandalore saw it down there in the mines, and then kind of like Lord of the Rings, right?
Yeah.
The
Mines of
monster in the
Moria.
mines, kind of the
Yeah.
same thing. Yeah, kind of the
Yeah, the
same thing.
Balrog.
A, a giant demon in the mines. That just sounds so familiar. Uh, but I just think it's kind of cool. I think there's more to that creature, than they gave us a little glimpse. I think they're going to give us the full aspect in maybe a future episode because it only makes sense. You're not going to leave us hanging with that creature down there. What is that? You know?
Yeah.
They're gonna have to come back to it. They're absolutely gonna have to come back
Oh
to it.
yeah, no, I think it's going to be a huge part because it is the mythosaur, it is the beast that the Mandalorians in the days of yore tamed and rode. It's a sign of true leadership for the Mandalorians, and that's really what to me is interesting is really this the dynamic of this Mandalorian mythos and who's going to be the rightful leader going forward. The dynamic between Bo-Katan and Din Djarin, as Din, kind of the privileged one, happenstance has a dark saber, something that Bo-Katan desperately wants, and then he goes into the living waters and he's sucked down, and that's where she sees this mythosaur because she goes in the water after him, and certainly he
Mhm.
floats all the way down, and she goes to get him. And on her way up, that's when she sees this mythosaur. So that means she's destined to be the leader, or is he there? That mythosaur there for Din Djarin? We don't know yet, but yeah, I am
I
excited.
have a theory. I have a theory, Don.
Mm,
I just
Let's
thought of
hear it.
this. Okay, so the dark saber. It's the
Mm-hmm.
symbol of power in the Mandalorian people. Bo-Katan wants it because if she holds it up in the air, and they'll all follow her. Now, what if? a certain Mandalorian were to tame that beast, kind of like Boba Fett riding the Rancor in
Right.
Book of Boba Fett.
Yep.
What if someone were to go down there and tame that beast, and that is the true symbol of power because Mandalorian lore, that's what made the Mandalorian or
Yeah.
Mandalore.
Yes.
So
Well,
so
it's
what if there is some kind of final battle at the end of the season, and we come back to this mythosaur, and Mandalorian or Mando, tames that beast, and now he is the symbol of power. Bo-Katan might have the dark saber, but that ain't shit compared to the mythosaur. If you're going
well,
by Mandalorian lore,
well, sure, because the Mythosaur predates the Darksaber's creation, predates Tar Vizsla, the first Jedi Mandalorian. The
hmm
first Mandalorian, the Mandalore the Great, the first, whatever King Mandalorian, his helmet was made of bones of the Mythosaur skull.
yeah,
That bounty hunter symbol, that's a Mythosaur skull. So to
right.
me, I think you're correct that if it was okay, I have tamed and I now mount and ride the Mythosaur versus well, I have the Darksaber, I absolutely believe the Mythosaur is a way stronger symbol of, your right to lead, your right to rule.
Right,
Absolutely.
right. But what if that turns Bo-Katan evil? You know what I mean? Like she
I
didn't get her power. She
Yep,
has the dark saber, but it's all been taken from
but
her because somebody tamed the mythosaur. And then she becomes the big bad in season 4. This is just fan predictions here. 2 episodes in, we don't know anything. But my
no, but
mind is
it's
running right now.
sure no, as is mine because I didn't even expect her to help him this much. I was really
Right.
kind of surprised when he was like, "Oh, go get Bo-Katan," and then I get it though because she's on a planet that's in the same system as Mandalore. So if anyone was going to be able to make it there in time and save him, it'd be her. But
Right.
I was surprised about that. So you're absolutely right. For one reason or another, she could get screwed out of what she wants because
Yep.
Mandalorian or Grogu. Grogu's got an affinity with animals, kind of. I don't, whether he's eating them or he's floating them in the sky. It could be a Grogu tames the mythosaur thing. You never know, but
Wouldn't that be
absolutely that could
wild?
be. Yeah, it
Seeing that,
would be.
seeing that tiny creature ride that giant monstrosity.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And imagine I'm waving the dark saber. If it gets that as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
That
So
would, yeah, wow, that would be cool.
So season 3, episode 2, I loved, and because really a couple things here, I was really worried that the Mandalorian show would, and I'm going to borrow this from the last episode title, Superhero Speak, but the Baby Grogu show, right? Because I
Yeah.
really didn't want that, and so this episode, obviously, he is involved in. But this definitely solidified to me that no, this is about Mandalorians. This is about Din Djarin and Mandalorians. It's not the baby Yoda show.
Yeah.
Uh, um, and then secondly, now that we're on Mandalore. I actually didn't think we'd see a mythosaur or anything like that. Um,
No.
but here we are, which means that I'm while on Mandalore, whether it's they're presently on there or they come back, I'm just very encouraged. I'm gonna get to see my Mandalorian Basilisk war droid. I love those things. If you're not familiar with it, what it is basically take Ed 209 and make his face about 30 guns. And the Mandalorians ride on these droids from orbit. They will drop from a ship in orbit of a planet and just drop down to the planet, just barraging it with these war droids as they spin around and finally land and everything's dead. So, but yeah, Basilisk war droid. Mandalorians like to mount a lot of things, right? Rancors, Mythosaurs, Basilisk war droids.
But it's all
So,
it's all a symbol of power, is really
yeah,
all it is. They like to mount things and that are bigger than them.
yeah, yeah. Um,
hmm
they're also very because you talked about these myths possibly being a lie and whatnot. One
Yeah.
thought I had is and this is really isn't a smart thought. It's really kind of obvious, but the Mandalorian society and the way they operate is very much like the Spartans did. In the way of, that story of the 300. Like, the Spartans, yeah, they were badass and all that. There's no denying that. But they spent most of their time in history selling that idea and celebrating, that. And, oh, this is our culture. So, the Mandalorians with the Mythosaur and the Childs of the Watch and all these creeds and mythos things they got, it'd be interesting to see what's true and what they have been selling, like Spartans. What have they been selling? And what is true?
And what not is true.
And what is not true? All right, well, it'll just be a short time, and we'll be talking about episode 3 of this awesome show. I love it.
Yeah, it definitely hasn't let me down. Like, originally when they pitched this idea to me, I thought it was going to be a Boba Fett show, and I was over the moon. And they're like, no, 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 it's going to be another Mandalorian. And I'm like, but why? Now I regret my decision. I'm like, this is why.
Yeah.
Like they're exploring the mythos. They're not just doing the mythos of Boba Fett.
Right.
And I applaud them, and their world building skills are unmatched, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, how about the Bad Batch? You watching that?
Not yet.
Nah, not that.
Is
Yeah, it doesn't
is
quite
it
get
done?
the press.
Is it done airing yet? Because I kind of
No.
want to binge things like that.
Yeah, no,
No.
it's still mid-season, so still good. Not quite as good as the Mandalorian, but still some really really cool shit. But no, I knew you didn't watch it. It's getting a little bit of press though. They're talking about one of the characters, but I don't want to go any spoilers there. But good show, check that out. But definitely check out and keep checking out the Mandalorian, and we'll certainly be talking about it. Very very excited. Well, Ray, things do happen that make people not so excited. And one of those things,
It's a lot in this world.
yeah, it is. And people pick the dumbest things to not, to be, forget not excited, straight angry about. One of the great franchises of our time that has been rebooted a number of times is the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Started as a comic book in 1983. Then it was turned into a cartoon. That's where I jumped on. I was a very big Ninja Turtles fan. Watched the cartoon. Had all the toys. Had the Pizza Hut VHS.
Had the Burger King VHS, buddy. The Burger King Kids Club VHS.
Yeah.
I still got it. They're at my mom's house. Yeah, I'm that nerd.
I used to rock the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Out of Their Shells tour cassette tape.
Yes, sir, which is still available on YouTube in full. I watch it once a year. It's a yearly tradition for me. Yes, sir. I do it.
I can still.
I'm sorry, but the Baxter Stockman rap. Come on, we can't get any better than that. Oh, it's so bad. It's so bad. It's good.
I used to put that sucker in, and I thought it was the stuff. I thought it was hardcore.
I went and saw it live, dude. I got my Raphael bandana.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was the shit. Oh yeah.
I was jealous of you guys. Then I never get to go to the live.
It was really weird though, because I think before the Ninja Turtles, they had like an opening act kind of sorta, and it was Double Dare, and it was Double Dare. Don't ask questions, because I sure as hell didn't. A live stage Double Dare show opened for Ninja Turtles Out of Our Shell. Fucking weird, dude. And they showed Ren and Stimpy cartoons like in between, and I'm like while they were setting up, and I'm like, this is the weirdest fucking show I've ever been to.
That does sound weird. Yeah.
It was very weird.
They didn't have that on the VHS.
No, I don't think they would, but I remember distinctly.
So yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of iteration for Ninja Turtles, and when I was younger, I was all about it. Had the bed sheets, had
The
the
curtains,
curtains. Yep.
the beach towels, the everything, man. Oh
All
yeah,
the video games. I
all of them.
remember the
Even the
first
Nintendo, the first Nintendo one.
where
Yeah, we
they
don't talk
put
about that.
where they put the turtles on the same bandana, which was more from the comics, but for kids
Yeah,
like me who knew only the cartoons, I'm like, why are they all got Raphael's colors? Why, But anyway,
you have to wait for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, the arcade game, to get the colors.
yes, yes, great game. But
Still
what's
holds
not
up.
so great? It does. Well, I'm sure. I mean, any beat 'em up, you know, 8-bit, 16-bit, just good shit.
Oh
Turtles
yeah.
in Time, still classic. Manhattan
Even that,
Project.
that Shredder's Revenge remake or whatever
Yeah.
reboot or whatever that they did, I own it and I played the shit out of it for a good month. Like,
Oh, nice. That I
you could
have
be
not played.
Casey and Splinter. You could be Casey Jones, Splinter, April, all the turtles. Like, and it was
Oh,
awesome.
so they opened it up then. Okay,
Yeah,
nice.
and you level them up, and they have different levels, and you get more attacks and things like that. It was a really, really good game. I suggest anybody that loves the Turtles or hell side scroll beat 'em ups go play it.
Yeah. So as you can see, 8-bit and Ray and myself, we loved the Turtles when we were younger.
But when you're
They've been
younger,
re
shit, when we're older,
Yeah, not so. I fell off a little bit. I like the Nickelodeon.
oh no, Don, go read The Last Ronin
Okay, no,
from
no, no. Okay, no,
IIDW.
yes, no, no. I've done that. No, no, no. Yeah, you're right.
Oh,
Absolutely,
okay,
that shit is awesome. No, because my
yeah,
brother Volsker is a huge, and he collects all the IDW fucking Power Rangers, Ninja Turtle shit, where the Ninja Turtles are running around with their own Zords and shit. Like, yeah, shout out to
yeah,
IDW. If you like Ninja Turtles and fucking Power Rangers and shit like that, IDW is the comic company for you because they're doing some good stuff there. Um, so long story short, failure. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is being rebooted. They're doing another animated series, and there's been an uproar. The uproar is this. April O'Neil, you know, historically, if you were introduced to her from the cartoons or the movies, is usually a relatively physically fit, attractive, red hair white woman.
in a yellow jumpsuit.
In a yellow jumpsuit. Now she is going to be a not so physically fit person of color. In the original comics, I've seen the images. She was racially ambiguous. Um, if you ask the creators, two of them, one will say, "Well, no, she was always a white woman to me," and the other will say, "No, she was a mixed race." This isn't Shakespeare. This isn't, you know, Homer's Iliad, Odyssey, whatever. It's
Yeah.
Ninja Turtles. It's a Ninja Turtle based off a Ninja Turtle comic.
Yep.
I don't. Who cares what race or body type April O'Neil? Like, are we watching? Do we like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles because of April O'Neil, or do we like it because it's got 4 mutant turtles that are ninjas that use ninja weapons? Like,
I'm gonna go with option B on that, Don.
right?
We
Same
we
here.
watch it we watch it for the turtles. April O'Neil is a side character to me.
Absolutely. So I don't get it. So I mean, obviously, we don't have anyone here on the show to, I guess, counter our point of view of who gives a fuck. April O'Neil, April Jackie Onassis, who gives a fuck? Like, we want to see turtles fighting foot soldiers and Shredder and other mutants and shit. Like, that's all that
Yeah.
matters. They've
Look, Don,
already they
I'm gonna
race
welcome you
swapped
to the
Baxter
future.
Stockman.
They
For the movies, no one
race
cared.
I mean, they race swap Velma. I mean, who gives a shit? Like,
Yeah.
it's cartoons, people. Wake the
Right.
fuck up. It's cartoons. I know you hold this shit near and dear to your heart, but there's some things in this life that you just have to let go. You know what I mean? Like, just who cares? It
Yeah. It's
we
just
have
a dumb
evolved.
hill to die on.
I, I mean, I was hoping that society has evolved past this by now, but apparently I was wrong. A lot of people don't share my insight on that. I don't care about race in a character. If a character is a character, then whoever can play that character.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
care. It's not about the presentation. It's about the delivery. And if you can deliver, I don't care about your presentation.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Mm-hmm.
that's how I see it. You know, it's like, I mean, it's been going on for forever, as long as I can remember now. When they made Johnny Storm a black guy, it was Michael B. Jordan, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. The
And
fucking world lost its mind there too. And I'm just like, who cares?
yeah.
He's Johnny Storm. He's gonna play the character of Johnny Storm as long as he can deliver. Who cares? But the world loses their mind because race is somehow still a factor in this world, like it's new. And I don't
Yeah.
understand it, and I'm never going to try to decipher it because I can't put myself into that mental state. You know, I can't see the world through the eyes of a racist or a fascist or anything like that. I just can't do it, so I can't give you their opinion. So
Yeah.
I I just don't understand it. I don't even know how this is even news, but apparently it is, and apparently it's causing a big hubbub online. Big shocker there, because the fucking internet,
Yeah.
the greatest place on earth. Look, um, but I think people just want a reason to bitch about something. Honestly, man, like look at the changes to Star Wars. Like now,
Yeah.
I'm one of the people that I bitched about the sequel trilogy and things like that and how it didn't need to be, but that's a completely different reason. Like that's just the gatekeeper in me, I guess.
The
like I
gatekeeper Ray.
but the changes that they've made to the lore and things like that, and people are in a fucking hubbub over that. Like people just want a reason to bitch about anything just because they can bitch. Because they have a privilege online that they can say, "This is my opinion and it matters. You're gonna read it and you're gonna agree with it, or I'm gonna block you." You
Yeah.
know? No. No. It's just so stupid. This world is stupid. But as long as there's people that are out there willing to bitch, there's people like me willing to defend, the innocent. Yeah, I guess you can
Yeah.
call me the internet Batman.
There you go. 8-Bit Ray, Internet Batman.
The broke Batman. But yeah, Batman.
You and me both. For sure. Yeah, no, I mean, I'm right there with you. I'll never understand. I mean, with Trank's Fantastic Four, I had a little bit of a question mark with that one because Sue Storm was still white, and so they're supposed to be brother and sister.
Mhm.
But in that particular movie, for all three of you that saw it, you may remember that
Hey, I
it was
never
just
saw. I saw parts of it, Don. The only thing I remember from that movie was the menu at Denny's.
yeah.
If you anybody watching or listening has a Denny's near you, when that movie came out, they had a Thing burger, they had a Human Torch skillet, a Mister I can't remember what the Mister Fantastic thing was, and like an Invisible Woman had it. They all had one, and it was all delicious, especially that sausage thing that they gave me for the Human Torch, the skillet. That thing was
yeah.
amazing. Bring that back.
Fuck that movie.
But
Bring back the
but
Denny's menu.
But the movie, I don't remember. Doctor Doom was an internet
Yeah.
blogger.
Yeah.
Uh, they go to a different dimension. They weren't hit by cosmic rays.
Right.
I don't remember anything, Don. So you might have been one of the three that actually saw it.
I did,
Um,
and I did. I went and I saw the movie, and so in the movie they explain that like Sue Storm and Johnny Storm are like adopted siblings.
right, right.
Uh, yeah, and the only reason I went to see that movie is because at the time my son, who's very young, younger than he is now, he's 14, was really into The Thing. So I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, this is going to be shit, but thing looks cool, so I'll take them. And yeah, I proceeded to have to sit there and watch as the thing like murdered people for the government.
Yes,
I was like, all right, well,
that might have been a
anywho.
part.
So yeah, I had a little bit of a problem with that, but it was only because the Sue Storm was still white. But outside of that, yeah, who gives a fuck? I mean, like Nick Fury was race swapped. I mentioned Baxter Stockman was race swapped, and it just really doesn't matter except for minorities. Now it matters to them, and I know this because you may remember if you're longtime fans of the show or back on the House of D days when J100 was with us. He explained how it really is important that he can relate to characters, and that throughout our history, the 80s, the 90s, like
Everything is whitewashed. You're
right,
right.
yeah, everything
Yeah,
is white.
representation really does matter. It really does.
Um, so you want to see that little girl that sees the black Ariel and says, "Oh, that looks like me." Like, yeah, like what the fuck's like? So yeah, as white people, you don't know that feeling. Hence why you're complaining about. Well, not all white people. Actually, it's just the quartering and what was it, Eric July and all those other fucking nerd erotic. I don't know where right wing nerd media came from or birth, but it's there. And anytime they race swap a character or I don't know, make a Captain Marvel movie. They get a bunch of clicks out of that by complaining about it. Uh, but yeah, totally dumb. Like, no, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Who gives a fuck about who the reporter is? She is a side character, someone that goes grocery shopping for him or some shit like that. Gives him a lead on the Rat King.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah. So there you have it. I know the truth. Most people don't care, but as Ray has properly alluded to, it's the internet, and so there's
And
something to
it's
bitch about.
always and always remember this, guys, is that it will always be delivery over presentation. Always.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right. Well, hopefully we've delivered some good conversation here, informed you a little bit, maybe even made you laugh. But it is time.
Don. We gave them the Denny's menu from 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years ago.
Yeah. And after that was the Hobbit menu. I don't know if you remember the Hobbit menu, but I remember the Hobbit menu they had for the Denny's had for that time too. Um,
So what they give you, mini Franks?
yeah, Hobbit dicks. No, I'm just. Well, once again, Ray, thank you so much. I know you'll be back for the next Mandalorian show that we discuss.
Yes,
I'll
sir.
also be with you and me both. Superhero Speak. We're going to be on their live event coming this Sunday. It's their 500th episode, so Ray and myself and some other people will be there.
Big
But
panel.
I'll,
Big panel.
oh yeah, it's going to be
It's gonna be a mess. Dave's gonna have such a hard time
yeah,
wrangling this one.
it's going to be a mess. 3 nanoseconds into the show,
Abs- Absolutely.
but we'll have fun. We'll have fun. But outside of that, of course, you're host of the Omega, or no, that's me. You're host of the Gorilla Brain podcast, part of the
That
Geek
would be
World
me.
All Stars Podcast Network. That's you. But you also got some Twitch stuff going on. So what you got going on?
I have the Overlooked Hotel. I've recorded 4 episodes so far. Overlooked movies, and I go into detail breaking them down and finding things that I find funny about them. And the hottest chick in the movie, I give that the Joey DiCarlo Award. So when I find the hottest chick in the movie gets the DiCarlo Award.
Okay.
So,
How many
so
you're
it's
gonna
just gonna.
do before you release?
What's that?
How many are you gonna do before you start releasing them?
I'm probably gonna do one more, so that way I have 3 off the jump and then 2 on the back burner, and that way I can keep up that way and not fall behind like I did on my previous show. So just stay
Okay.
ahead of the curve. Yep.
Okay. And just a slight spoiler then. You don't have to name the movie per se, but Who got the first Joey DiCarlo award?
The what's her face, the blonde chick from Kickboxer 3, and I can't remember her name. She gets it.
Okay, the blonde chick from Kickboxer 3. All right.
Yep,
Good
and
stuff.
Leprechaun 4 in space goes to the blonde chick that shows her tits. I'm giving that one away for free, guys.
All right.
The
That's
princess, what's her face? Can't remember her name, but yep, she gets the DiCarlo award of that episode.
all right. That's cool. All right, yeah. So check that out. Check out the Gorilla Brain podcast. Check out the Underrated podcast when he gets that already, and you'll be able to check us both out here on Superhero Speak. Their 500th extravaganza live episode, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time this Sunday, and of
YouTube,
course, yep,
Facebook, and
YouTube,
Twitter, I believe.
yep, yep.
Yep, yep.
Unless they've changed
But
that, but yeah, we're
yeah,
YouTubers here. Unless you're on the audio only, then we're Podbeaners, an Apple Podcast app, which is where you can find this show. And you can find the show on Twitter at Omega Level Nerds. So if you have some comments there about what did you think of the Mandalorian Season 3, Episode 2? Do you have any problem with April O'Neil being black now and not quite as physically fit? Let me know on Twitter at Omega Level Nerds, or you can email if you don't do the Twitter thing. If the fact that Elon Musk owns it now, and so you're maybe not on Twitter, so go ahead and email omegalevelnerds@gmail.com. All right, well, please like and subscribe if you haven't already. If you enjoyed our content, that always helps us on YouTube. But outside of that, we'll see you back here soon. Have a great one. See you on the next Omega Level Nerds.